So I'm here with Robert Garza, who I followed on YouTube. He's got just an amazing story, and I can't wait to share this with you. This is truly an honor for me to be here with you. So tell me a little bit about your story, maybe just a quick synopsis of what happened to you, because I'm blown away by.
Yeah, well, I went through family court for about 16 years, spent about $700,000 just being able to be in my children's life, and went through about 43 silver bullets. Never once convicted, arrested. They were all false and done by proxy.
Wow. Can you explain silver bullet for maybe some parents who don't quite understand that? What does that mean exactly?
Well, it's called silver bullet because all it takes is one, and you lose custody. They may even terminate your custody. It's just a false allegation, and that puts you in legal limbo until you can get back into court and that allegation is ruled out.
Wow. I work with a lot of people, and that seems to be something very common. Would you mind if we kind of explored that a little bit?
Sure.
How did you manage to stay calm and navigate that? I mean, some people freak out after just one.
They do. Believe me, I wasn't this calm through the whole thing. I've learned to be calm, to become calm. It's counterintuitive because when you go through a false allegation, you want to blow up. It's false. Yeah. And they're taking away your parental right on a precaution. You wouldn't take a cub away from a bear.
No.
To be like, I don't think so, I'm not doing that. But in family court, they seem to think that's fine. And it's not. When they do that on a precaution, they're violating your Fifth Amendment right for due process and your 14th Amendment right for care, custody, and control, and they shouldn't do it. And they shouldn't be able to do it, but they do it with the best interest of the child, which is a wild card in family court.
Right, so they use the child as almost a weapon to, got to protect the child, so you must have been $700,000. At any point did you start to defend yourself, or was it just always through the lawyers?
So I started defending myself after about 12, 13 years.
Wow.
But in doing so, I sat in every trial, and my life was on the line for every hearing and trial, and so was my bond with my children.
So if someone's been had something lodged against them, what would your advice be for them to how to handle it? How do they defend themselves? How do they talk to their lawyers? What should they focus on?
Don't freak out, first of all, but this is a very specialized thing, and unless your attorney is very good and has represented somebody in false allegations or parental alienation, then I don't think you should hire them.
Okay, so screen out the lawyer.
Yeah, not who's the cheapest, not who's the most expensive, who's the most knowledgeable about parental alienation and false allegations, because that's what you're about to go into. Okay. And if they're using it right off the bat, then more than likely they're going to use it all the way through.
Okay, so in preparation to talk to your legal counsel, what should you be doing? What should you be collecting to protect yourself?
If you're going through a false allegation first, I think throw that order or that temporary order, whatever that they gave you, into AI and say, hey, I'm going through this. I need a lawyer in Texas that can fight this. Who would you recommend? And let AI kind of do its thing or whatever.
Okay, should you be documenting and kind of going back through your past then?
So the best thing that you can do when you're going through any kind of family court, especially false allegations, and especially as a targeted parent, is document everything, but more so timeline everything.
Okay.
Because you can show the court every instance, and when people see this, they're going to be like, oh yeah, every instance that something happened, there was always a trigger right before, whether you got a new girlfriend, or right before a big holiday, or there's always a trigger for it.
Okay. Now, as you're constructing this timeline, some of the people I work with, they start to realize, well, I have a few skeletons in my closet. I may have had an addiction or something that doesn't help my case.
Yeah.
Should they not mention it, or how do they kind of, because that's often what's used, right?
Yeah, they try to bring your past up like it's current or something, or
That's right.
it's a problem.
Should that be a worry to someone who's?
So I think tell your attorney, if you have an attorney, front load. So if you know that that's what they're going to go after, then you're like, that should be in the opening statement. Judge, my client had an addiction problem 6 years ago. He went to therapy. Their child's 3 years old. This was before the child was even born. Like front load, just get it out of the way. What's going to happen is they're trying to bring that addiction up like it's a new thing. You've already opened up and said, that was 6 years ago, 3 years before the child was even born.
So the legal system does look at currently where you're at. They don't penalize you for past behavior then.
Well, what opposing counsel is going to do is try to act like it's current.
Right.
They're not going to let the court know. That's the problem. They deceive the court. They act like this is a current thing when it was an old thing that happened.
And so if they're still they're still struggling with it, they can also say, I'm in AA right now, or I'm doing this, and that will help their case.
Oh yeah, of course, because they're going to weaponize it against you. And how bad is it going to look for opposing counsel if I get up there and say, look, Your Honor, my client had an addiction 6 years ago, and he's in AA every week. Here's a calendar for his track record. He's been sober for this many days, and this child's 3 years old, and she knew before they had a child together that he had this addiction because he's been sober the whole time. You have to front load.
That makes a lot of sense. That's terrific. So I know that you've been trying to change the legal system so that we don't actually have to do this. Can you talk to me a little bit about some of the initiatives that you're involved in?
Yeah, so I'm trying to stop the bad behavior before it starts. So like the time taken, time back bill. If you're going through a false allegation, whenever you go through it and there's no abuse or neglect found, the court shall give you that time back when they return the child, and the same type of time in the same exact amount of time. And in doing so, it discourages making a false allegation. Now, if you spent tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands, whatever you spent to go get a court order, and they're not abiding by that court order, that's why my 3 strikes law is there, because if they're trying to interfere with your child custody and not hand over the child when it's your possession time, instead of calling the cops and the cops saying it's a civil matter, go to court, it's a criminal matter right now in every state, but they don't prosecute for it. After my law goes through, it is a $500 fine the first time, the second time, and then the third time it becomes a state jail felony, what it is right now. And it's great for protective parents because it gives them an opportunity to get a $500 fine. They can take to a criminal court, say, look, I had to take the child CPS, there was abuse, and the $500 dismissed. No big deal.
Right.
But at least it's not a state jail felony right now. And for people that are weaponizing this, it shows the district attorney's office on that third strike when they arrest them. Now they will be prosecuted, and it will show a pattern of bad behavior.
Wow, so that'd be a huge deterrent then.
Massive deterrent.
That's incredible. Where has this already been passed? Has it been passed in states already?
So the time taken, time back bill is passed in Texas. It went through unanimous, bipartisan the first time, and the governor signed off on it on Father's Day. The one in North Dakota went through, and we put in double the time back in North Dakota. That way it not only discourages it, it rewards the person, it rewards the parent that it was done to, the targeted parent, but it actually penalizes the person for making that false allegation.
Okay, what about the 3 strikes?
So the 3 strikes is going through the Texas legislature right now. It's our second special session. There was a lot of stuff that had happened, nothing to do really with my bill, but just the way that the government works, or the state works. And so it's going through our legislature right now. All of these bills, I wrote 450 bills right now, amending about 8 to 9 codes for all states.
Wow.
And it's like the time taken, time back, the 3 strikes law, 10-day rule for judges, some other ones. But I've written them in the last 6 to 8 months. I've been doing nothing but writing bills for months now to make sure that I got every word in that would matter.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
And that's one state. How are you spreading this across North America, hopefully in Canada, where I'm from?
Yep, it's coming to Canada. We're actually in Canada today. So what I've done is I've gotten robertgarza.us, and I came up with a plan that I'm going to amend this for all 50 states, Canada and Australia right now. And when you go there, you can sign up to be an advocate. When you do, it'll take you into our message group, our messenger group, and you can go to whichever state or country you're in, and you can talk with other advocates in there and see where they're at and who they've contacted as far as legislature goes for those bills. But the neat thing about the website is that when you click on whatever state you're in, it'll take you to a legislative pack, and you just copy and paste the email. You put the legislator's name at the top and your name at the bottom. It says that you want a Zoom call. Let's just say you wanted a new start equality, and you send it to your legislator. It's literally an email, and then you do a follow-up phone call, get a Zoom date set, you send that to me, you Zoom in, you tell them, your legislator, a little bit about the problem that you're having. Let's just say your ex is interfering with your child custody, and then you talk about your case for about a couple of minutes, and then I talk to them on why the bill solves that issue. That legislator is super happy because it's already written in their code. He or she sees where it fits.
That's perfect. So you don't have to, the advocate doesn't have to be a lawyer. So
No.
you jump in there at the last minute. You're like Superman.
But I'm not a lawyer either. I was never a lawyer. I was a parent just like everyone else. I had a regular job. I was just a father that loved his children, and I knew nothing about this process until I was thrown into it.
And how's the family now?
My family's good. Well, as good as it can be, I guess, going through 16 years of family court. But my youngest child, she's good. She's amazing, especially going through 16 years of this. My 18-year-old just aged out, so she's in college now. But man, I don't wish this on anybody.
No.
And that's why I want to change the system, because I promised my children and family a long time ago that I was going to do something to change where no other family had to do and go through what they did and what I did. And I am.
That's terrific. Thank you very much for the time. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate it.